What do you think has been the most important event for the American Catholic Church in the 20th century? There are a great many events. I would say Vatican II, the Second Vatican Council. Why? One way to approach it would be possibly this. I have said and continue to say that the great contributions of Vatican II were three. And many individual contributions, but on the broad level. That the Catholic Church, that Vatican II inserted or reinserted Catholicism into history, into Christendom, and into the world. A word on each. Inserted or reinserted Catholicism into history. I mean that without saying so explicitly, just by its manner of action, Vatican II made it quite clear that, well, put it this way, made a distinction between objective truth as it exists somewhere out there, and objective truth as it's embedded in actual history. What I mean is this. There are some people, including Catholics, who see objective truth because it is objective. It exists somewhere out there, apart from its possession by anybody, apart from history. For all practical purposes, what the Council said was the Church is never absent from history. What it says, what it does, is influenced by history and influences history. Yes. Catholicism and its teaching is not something out there. It always exists in the minds, the hearts, the lives of individuals. Secondly, Vatican II inserted Catholicism into Christendom. What I mean is this. Before Vatican II, a popular conception among Catholics about Protestants was, indeed, there are holy Protestants. Grace, God's gift, God's favor, God's grace exists in Protestants. We'd be blind not to see it. But, we said, or most Catholics did, it touches them only as individuals, not the community. What Vatican II said was, God's grace is present not only in individual Protestants, but within the Protestant communities. And that's what we have to take seriously. We cannot simply say any longer, many of my best friends are Protestants. No, not enough. Grace exists, floods Protestant communities. And that's why we're able to have an ecumenical movement. Yes. Right. And so the Council insisted on, urged us to get into conversation with one another. With not only individual Catholics and individual Anglicans, Protestants, but the communities. Why? Because both are communities of grace. Third insertion. Vatican II inserted or reinserted the Catholic Church into the world. What do I mean? Before Vatican II, many, perhaps most Catholics saw the Catholic Church as sort of an island surrounded by enemies, a hostile sea all around. Yes. We were the ones who were besieged. And To a certain extent, there was reason for that, because in the 19th century, many of the developments in scripture, in history, in the sciences, seemed to be hostile to what the church was teaching. There were some good reasons for feeling that way, but what Vatican II insisted on is that the Catholic Church exists for people, to love everyone who exists, no matter whom. That it's not a battle, we and they. No. We and they form a human community. And therefore, as Paul VI said in one of the speeches during the council, Pope Paul VI said, we want the world to know that we embrace it. Oh, not its sin, but the wonderful things that are happening in the world. We want artists, scientists, men and women of the professions to know that we yearn for the gifts that they have to be given to us, and that we have a great love, and our heart goes out to the poor, the laboring, those who are broken-hearted. The world is our parish. Yes.